The jungle. Let me tell you, you don't forget that first hit of heat. Like a wet wool blanket thrown over your head. And the smell. Rot. Sweet decay. And underneath it all, the sharp tang of cordite. Gunpowder. That was home for 13 months. I was a kid from Southie, Thomas Edward Sullivan. My whole world was a few square blocks of triple-deckers in the corner pub. I joined the Corps in '66, not even 21. Thought I knew what tough was. My old man worked the docks, came home with knuckles like stones. I figured I was made of the same stuff. They shipped us to Da Nang. I was a corporal with 1st Battalion, 9th Marines. The Walking Dead, they called us. A name we'd earn. You step off that bird and the air is so thick you drink it. Everything's green, but a sick green. Shadows move. Every vine could be a wire. Every quiet spot could be a trap. You learn fast or you die. There's no second option. We were boys playing the most serious game ever invented. My fire team, Lopez from East LA, quiet, could field strip his rifle in the dark. O'Brien, a farm kid from Iowa, solid as an oak. And Jenkins, just a kid really, 18, had a picture of his mom in his helmet. We'd hunker down in the mud, sharing a can of lukewarm beans, talking about baseball, about girls, about nothing. That's the brotherhood. It's not speeches. It's the man next to you, knowing he'll share his last sip of water. Semper Fi means always faithful. It means you're all they have, and they're all you have. The tension was a constant hum, like a bad wire. You'd jump at a monkey crashing through the canopy. Your heart would hammer for an hour. But there's a strange calm that comes too, in the lulls, when you're just waiting. You'd almost forget where you were until the mortars would start walking in. Then it was all noise and terror and moving on instinct. We'd been out for days, hot, tired, leeches on your legs. The monsoons had turned the trails to red soup. We were heading back to the fire base, just wanting a hot meal, a dry pair of socks. You let your guard down a fraction. You start thinking about home, about my girl, Margaret Rose. I'd get her letters, smelling of perfume, and I'd read them 100 times. We came to a ravine, just a shallow cut in the red earth, baked dry by a brutal sun. The jungle fell away here. It was too open, too quiet, the calm before. And in that silence, everything got very, very clear. That ravine, it was a scar in the earth, maybe 50 yards across. The sun was a hammer on your helmet. After the green gloom of the jungle, it felt like stepping onto a stage, exposed. Lopez, he was on point. He held up a fist. We all froze. You learn to read a man's back. His was rigid. He pointed down. Tracks. Fresh. Sandal prints crisscrossing the dry creek bed at the bottom. A lot of them. The lieutenant came up, young guy, fresh out of Quantico. We called him LT. Good kid, but the jungle hadn't chewed him up yet. He looked at the tracks, then at the far tree line. It was too quiet. No birds. You always listen for the birds. When they stop singing, somebody else is there. "We got to cross it, Corporal," he said to me. "Firebase is on the other side. 2 clicks." I knew it. We all did. But that open ground, it was a funnel. My mouth was dust. I looked at my boys. O'Brien, his face slick with sweat, gave me a tight nod. He was already scanning the far ridge. Jenkins, he was just staring at those tracks, his knuckles white on his M16. Kid was breathing too fast. "Jenkins," I said low, "look at me." He did. His eyes were wide. "You stay behind O'Brien. You watch our 6. You see anything, you sing out. Loud. You got that?" He swallowed, nodded. Good man. The plan was simple, too simple. 1 fire team at a time. Ours was first. Lopez would lead, then Jenkins, then me, then O'Brien bringing up the rear. We'd move fast, low, to the far side. Basic, the kind of thing you do 100 times. But this time felt different. It was in the air. The heat seemed to vibrate. I checked my rifle for the 10th time, made sure Jenkins's gear was straight. "Stay sharp," I told him. It was all I could say. Lopez went, a shadow flitting across the red dirt. He made it to the other side, melted into the brush, gave the signal. "Clear. Go, Jenkins. Go now." The kid went. He was clumsy, scared. His boots kicked up little puffs of dust. Every second he was out there felt like an hour. My heart was a fist in my throat. He was halfway, 3/4. Then he was diving next to Lopez. Safe. My turn. I took a breath, the air like fire in my lungs, and went. The world narrowed to the dirt in front of me, the weight of my pack, the sound of my own breathing. I could feel 1,000 eyes on me. Imagination or not, it doesn't matter. It feels the same. I slid in beside Jenkins. He was shaking. I clapped a hand on his shoulder. "You're okay. You're good." O'Brien was next. Solid, steady. He came across like he was on a Sunday stroll. Made it look easy. We were all across, hunkered down, catching our breath. The lieutenant signaled the next team to start their crossing. We'd done it. A stupid little ravine. I almost laughed. Almost. Then I saw it. Jenkins was staring back the way we came, his face pale. "Corporal Sullivan?" His voice was thin. "My canteen. I dropped it. Back in the middle." I looked. There it was. A green plastic canteen, lying in the open like a beacon. Stupid. A rookie mistake. But he was just a kid, and it had his name on it. In a war where they tagged everything, that canteen was a piece of home. The second team was starting their crossing. If the Gooks were watching, that canteen would tell them exactly where we'd been, where we were going. "Leave it, Jenkins," I said, my voice harder than I meant. "But my ma—" I said, "Leave it." The words came out a snarl. The lieutenant was looking at me, then at the canteen, then at the tree line. The decision was on his face. He was weighing it. A piece of gear against the mission, against all of us. He looked at me. "Sullivan, send one man, fast. Get it and get back, now." An order, clear as day, and it landed on me. I had to choose. I looked at my team. Lopez was our best shot. O'Brien was our anchor. Jenkins, he was the one who dropped it. "Jenkins," I said. The word tasted like ash. "Go, run. Grab it and run back. Don't look up, just run." He looked at me, and in his eyes I saw the boy he still was, terrified. And then I saw the Marine. He nodded. "Yes, Corporal." He took a breath, and he went back out into the sun. He went, head down, legs pumping. A green kid in a green uniform against that red dirt. I watched him. We all did. The second team was halfway across, coming toward us. Jenkins was a blur moving back the other way. He reached it, skidded to his knees, grabbed the canteen. He fumbled it, his hands were shaking so bad. He got it, clutched it to his chest. He looked up at me from the middle of that godforsaken ravine, and he smiled. A quick, relieved little smile. "I got it, Corp." That's when the world tore open. The first crack wasn't a rifle. It was the thump of a mortar leaving its tube. From the far tree line. I knew that sound. My guts turned to ice. "Incoming!" The round hit behind Jenkins, between him and the second team. Dirt and smoke erupted. Then the machine gun opened up. An RPD, that distinct ripping sound. Tracers, red and angry, stitching across the open ground right down the path we'd just taken. It was an ambush, a perfect, murderous ambush. They'd let us cross. They'd waited for the second team to be in the kill zone. "Jenkins, run, run!" He tried. He got to his feet, canteen still in his hand, and he ran. The dust from the mortar blast swirled around him. The machine gun found him. I saw the rounds hit. I saw his body jerk. Once, twice. He didn't cry out. He just folded, collapsed into the dirt. It wasn't a movie. There was no dramatic last word. He just stopped being a boy and became a thing lying in the sun. The rest was chaos, a fury of noise and returning fire. We laid down cover, O'Brien screaming curses, Lopez firing methodically at the muzzle flashes. The second team was pinned, 2 guys down. We fought our way to them, dragged them back. It felt like hours. It was minutes. When it was over, when the gooks broke contact, the silence was worse than the noise. The smoke hung in the ravine like a ghost. Jenkins was still out there, in the open. We couldn't get to him, not without walking into another ambush. The lieutenant made the call. We had to move. We had wounded. The firebase was still our only chance. We left him there. We left him with his canteen. I gave the order that put him there. The lieutenant gave it to me, and I gave it to Jenkins. That's what the rank means. It's not a privilege. It's a weight. You carry the decisions, and you carry the men who pay for them. That night at the firebase, they debriefed us. They called it a successful engagement. We'd repelled the enemy, minimal casualties, 1 KIA. They said his name. It was just a name on a report. I didn't sleep. I sat with my back against a sandbag, staring at my hands. They were clean. I'd scrubbed them. But they didn't feel clean. They felt like they were still holding that order, that stupid, fatal order. I could smell the cordite and the dust and the heat. I could see that relieved smile right before the world exploded. That's when I broke. Not all at once, quietly. A crack deep inside that no one could see. I started hearing the mortar thump in my sleep, seeing the tracers when I closed my eyes. The only thing that made it quiet for a little while was the drink. But that's a story for another day. Semper Fi means always faithful. I was faithful to the Corps. I was faithful to the order. But I wasn't faithful to that kid, not when it mattered. I sent him back for a canteen, and I've been carrying that weight for 53 years. Coming home was the second war. The first was over there. The second was in my own head. They gave me a plane ticket and a handshake. No parade, no welcome. Just a lot of people who didn't want to hear it, who'd look right through you. You'd see the ravine when you closed your eyes, but everyone else just saw the sidewalk. I was a ghost in my own hometown. I married Margaret Rose. God bless her, she stuck with me through everything. But I wasn't really there. I was in that ravine. I'd wake up shouting, drenched in sweat. She'd reach for me and I'd flinch. The sound of a car backfiring. I'd be on the floor. I couldn't talk about it. The words were ash in my mouth. So I drank. To quiet the thump. To drown out the silence after the gunfire. Getting sober was harder than combat. Took me 10 years and nearly losing her and the kids to do it. Tommy Jr. was scared of me. Colleen didn't understand why her dad was so sad. That's the invisible wound. It bleeds on everyone you love. The healing didn't start with a big moment. It started with a cup of coffee. Another vet, a guy from the VFW, saw me sitting alone. He didn't say much, just sat down. Didn't ask questions. After a while I said, "Khe-Sanh." He nodded and said, "Hugh City." And that was it. That brotherhood, that's the only thing that can hold that weight. We don't talk much about the bad days, but we know. We sit in silence and we know. Let me tell you what it means to be a Marine. It means you carry it, the good and the bad, the pride and the shame. Semper Fi. I was faithful to the Corps. I'm trying, every day, to be faithful to that kid, to his memory, by living a life that means something. To the civilians, the people who never served, I don't want your pity. I want your understanding. That kid in the uniform at the grocery store, he might be carrying a ravine you can't see. Just a little patience, a little respect. Don't ask him if he killed anyone. Ask him if he needs a hand with his groceries. To the young people thinking about service, it's the greatest thing you'll ever do, and the hardest. You'll make brothers you'd die for, and you might have to give an order you'll dream about for 50 years. You go in with your eyes open. You serve with your heart. You come home, and you help the guy next to you carry his weight. I'm 75. I live in Quincy. I have a good woman, kids who finally understand, grandkids who sit on my lap. The war is a part of me. It's in the scar tissue. But it's not all of me anymore. Jenkins, I left you in the dirt, but I carried you home. In here, every day. I've tried to live a life worthy of the one you didn't get to. That's the only amends I can make. Semper Fi, Private. Rest easy. We have the watch.